Hello, this is Seay, and I wanted to share something that's been on my heart a lot lately because I see how it holds so many people back. And you know what? It's something that we are all guilty of. In fact, it's a social phenomenon. So I want to tell you a little bit of, I'm going to tell you a true story and how this came about and what all this means to you. So there's this phenomenon that happens. And it was first discovered back in 1964 with a woman by the name of Kitty Genovese. And she was in New York City, and sadly, she was murdered. But this is what was interesting about this particular case, is that 38 people witnessed either hearing or seeing her murder. And no one called the police. No one called for help. No one did a thing. So after this case came out and they realized that 38 people were witnesses and not one person called, they started to do research, and psychiatrists came aboard and did research, and what they found is this phenomenon called diffusion of responsibility. And so then they started testing it in more and more social situations, and the bottom line is the bigger the group, the less responsibility people take for action. It's also called the bystander effect. So, you know, what they found, the common thread that would go through people's minds was, you know, I don't want to get involved with this. I don't want to stand out too much. Someone else will do it for me. And they may think my action doesn't matter. So those are some of the common things that people thought about to not take action. So it's kind of crazy, right? You would think, how does this woman get murdered and nobody does anything about it? So why I'm sharing this whole story with you is diffusion of responsibility is a real thing. It's something that we all do. And what I have noticed with my business, as well as some of my customers, is they are waiting for someone else to do it. And they're giving excuses. It's their reasons for why they validate their own excuses. So, for example, I was in a leadership group about a month ago, and there was, like 20 or 30 of us leaders. And it was interesting because the more leaders there are in one of these groups, the less they contribute. Well, why is that? And it's the same leaders that step up to the plate and take ownership. And I see the same thing happen with my customers. They think, oh, you know, it's up to my husband or it's up to somebody else. And the more people that are involved, the less responsibility people take. And I think, man, like, how much power are you giving away because you aren't taking ownership for your own specific role to change your own life? You're not even having to change someone else's life, but taking responsibility for your own life and not waiting for all the other variables around to sit back and have you not take action. So I want to challenge you, number one, to be aware of what diffusion of responsibility is. And think, you know, gosh, is my kid on a team or am I part of a project? How many things am I involved in that I see with my own family where I could step up and be a more involved person? I could share more ideas. I shared a message yesterday to about 10 coaches, and because there was a group of people, nobody responded. It was just interesting. But if you are directly spoken to, of course, you're going to respond. You're going to take more action because it's directed to you. I would challenge you to think of your life, whether it's in a group setting or a group project that you're working on, by stepping up and taking ownership, regardless of the project is directly involving you or you're doing it with other people. Because you know what that's going to do for your self-esteem? Number one, it's going to improve performance in your own life because you're going to be stepping up to the plate and taking more ownership for things. It's going to create action in your life. And you know what? Action creates momentum. And momentum is a really phenomenal thing to have in a positive way when you're working towards positive actions. You are going to raise the bar for the people around you. You're going to empower change, not only in yourself, but in other people. And if you're one of those people where you're waiting, you know what? I'm waiting for my parents to help me, or I'm waiting for my coach, or my team, or the government to bail me out, or my spouse. You're sitting back and waiting for other people to do the work. You need to take your power back and say, no, this is my responsibility. I can make a difference, and I'm going to make a difference. So I want all of you to be mindful of the phenomena called diffusion of responsibility and say, you know what, that's not me. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to have a voice and be in charge of my own life and make a difference to others. There you go. You guys have a great day. That is my personal power tip for you for today.